All right, folks, welcome to Real Academy. This is my couch to content series. And for this month, I am so excited to have a special guest, a man I admire and follow and like and try to DM as much as I can. Brooks Landry coming at us from the Bay Area. Brooks, thank you so much for being here.
Of course, man. Thanks for the invite. We met in San Antonio.
We met in San Antonio at the first Real
Yeah.
event, which was really cool. And for any new Real people who are going to San Diego, one of the coolest things is you see all these people on social media and then you see them in live and you're like, oh, cool, you're real. We can hang out now. Um,
and you're from my home state. So that was an immediate connection right there.
There's another immediate connection. I guess like anyone, no matter where you're from, when you meet someone out of context from your state, it's a cool, magical feeling. And Maine is pretty much the most special place in the world where I'm from. So it's extra special when I get to meet folks like Brooks who are crushing it in the other part of the country. So in this fourth series, the premise for this 12-month class has been to excite, inspire, and engage with agents within the Real network who are looking to increase their frequency of posting video. Maybe they're looking to like just get their feet wet. They just need kind of the inspiration to hold up that phone and say something and not criticize it and just post it. So the audience has been super helpful and also engaged in the last sessions. So now I feel like a little bit of the pressure is off my shoulders because we have a true pro here, which I'm very excited to get going. Just a little bit about me. For those who are meeting me the first time, I live and work in Falmouth, Maine. I have two amazing daughters. I'm a runner, a swimmer, an uphill skier. I help host a TV show in Maine called Maine Life. I lead a team of places in Maine. That is my other partner on the team, Alex, in the photo. We shot some content last Friday on the ocean, and those are some cliffs on a beautiful island that we swam near. I've sold some homes. I've got some agents in my network. And the one thing I love most about Real is just this opportunity to connect and collaborate, regardless of where we're from. And then I didn't know too much about Brooks, so I thought I'd leave it kind of open, but I didn't have a chance to change this photo, Brooks, and I apologize, but I wanted to definitely give you a chance to introduce yourself to everyone.
For sure. No worries. Well, Brooks Landry, I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, as Chris had mentioned, originally from Maine, actually made the move from Maine to California almost 20 years ago. I'm 41, so I'm almost a Californian. Does that switch ever? You live in the state a little bit longer than the one you grew up in? I don't know. Still gonna claim.
Like California would say yes.
Yeah, but everybody back east will say no. But I've been in the residential real estate space for 12 years. I've owned brokerages. I've had big teams. I've had small teams. I've kept my business lean for the past couple of years of myself, a transaction coordinator, teammate. So really kind of small. We've started off in the industry in 2003 and started in the mortgage industry and originated home loans in San Diego as soon as I moved to California. So my first almost 7 years of the industry has been originating home loans and kind of starting from the beginning, cold calling for 6 days a week for a couple of years, and then graduating into originating loans, and then had a team behind me here in the Bay, and decided to transition. Thought it was a good idea to transition into real estate in the worst real estate market in the history of the United States in 09 and 10. And it was a heck of a time, especially when you don't know anybody, you don't have any friends, you don't have any family. So I door knocked and followed up with video, and then just kept dripping on my database as I continued to grow it. So I've been lucky enough to have a pretty successful career here in this crazy industry, in this crazy area of the country when it comes to selling real estate. So yeah, that's kind of a little Reader's Digest version of me.
That's amazing. That made me think. I played tennis with a gentleman who's a little bit older than me, but he has a son who just graduated from grad school, and the son, who's I guess 23, is like dead set on developing an app, hiring a team in India, and striking it big, right? And I had this conversation with my tennis partner, who's a CEO of a pretty large marketing company over here, and it just made me reflect on like there are paths to get places, but there's not always the easy button. So just hearing your story of like door knocking, following up with a video, door knocking, following up with a video. And now we see where you are today. And folks, please follow Brooks if you haven't, to get a taste of his content. But there's you see the success and you see the longevity, at least in my experience, when people like you have really put in the work.
Yeah, I mean, it was a grind. When my coach at the time was like, you need to, I was broke. I had nothing. So it was all sweat equity. So I figured follow up, and I wanted to stand out. And that's where the video was. I kind of stepped into it. So yeah.
Now, like, what year was that when you're following up with video? Like, was it easy as the iPhone texting?
Well, I was 2010. I think it was 2010 is when really when I started. I remember when I first got into it. So this was kind of like I needed to generate leads. So what I would do is, because there was a lot of foreclosures and a lot of short sales, I'd get a list through the MLS of however many homes hit the market that week for short sales in specific areas, right? So let's say, for example, there was 50 homes that hit the market, short sales and foreclosures in San Francisco. I would do a quick little YouTube video, and I would say, here's 25 out of the 50 properties that hit the market this week. Here's 25 for you to get access to the other 25. Click the link, and it would send me to sendmeforeclosures.com was a domain that I had with a landing page. And I would take that video and I would just aggressively post it on Craigslist nonstop, like literally like 15 times a day, every single day. And I did it for every portion of Craigslist within the Bay Area. And we were killing it. We had an insane amount of inquiries that weren't quite leads yet. We were getting hundreds a week. And my follow-up game was awful, but that was kind of my initiation into video was about 2010. And I think I had a big part of shutting down the video space in Craigslist here in the Bay Area. They eventually were like, you can no longer post videos. It has to be a link, because it's just aggressively spamming. Yeah. But that was kind of, that's how I needed to get the leads. So
yeah. Wow, I didn't even know you could post videos on Craigslist.
You can't anymore, probably because of people like me. Yeah, so I've used it, unfortunately. So
awesome. Great. And for everyone who's tuning in and joining in, please let this be an open forum. If you have questions, we're so lucky to have Brooks for an hour. I want to make sure everyone gets all the value they need. I've got a whole bunch of questions I'm going to go through, and we're just going to keep telling these stories and sharing a lot of our experience. So this is great. So Brooks, if you can now, let's just focus on the present, and we'll continue to probably dig into the past in a little bit, but like, where are you now with your real estate business and with video?
Video is a huge part of my business. It's always really been a big part. I've loved it because, again, being from a completely different side of the country, not having any friends or family or really any sphere of influence, it was a great way for me to show my personality, my mannerisms. And, when you're meeting somebody for the first time, I would meet, a couple for the first time. I'd always send them a quick little video. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, this is Brooks. You can put a face to the voice over the phone. I'll meet you at 123 Main Street or Starbucks. We'll talk about your goals. So I've always kind of used that and involved it into doing a little bit more than your market updates, right? So when you first got into the space, it was, this is how many homes hit the market this week. Here's how many went pending. Here's the DOM. Here's the average price per foot on condos and townhomes, and kind of explain the difference and the little nuances that we all know, but our clients don't necessarily know. So it really kind of graduated into just being consistent with my database. Every lead, every email, every Zillow lead, every open house lead, every contact that I got would go into a CRM, and they get my videos weekly. And it was when I was at a mortgage company in San Diego when I first started, the owner of the company would sit down and say, listen, your goal is to take an application, a full application, from name to social to email to literally everything from top to bottom. The most important thing that we need is that email address. So that was kind of beat into us, get that contact so you can drip on them and make them that kind of farm. So that's kind of how it's evolved. And to this day, I've got a couple of businesses that pertains specifically to the content creation and being able to drip on our clients with video. So that's really, it's a huge part of my business.
That's amazing. I want to touch on kind of one point, because I think it's really crucial for everyone to understand the opportunity we have to build that trust. And like you said, to associate a face with a name. what was your experience in like discovering the success? Was that something you just knew, so you went right to video? What kind of feedback helped you get there?
No, so I mean, just like everybody that starts, they're like, first of all, I hated the way I sounded, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, God, I was telling my wife, I'm like, do I sound like that? Like, I don't. And my first couple of videos, I'm like sweating through my shirt. I was beet red. I had to change my shirt a couple times. It was more just repetition, and the
Yeah.
more I did it, the more I got better at it. But really, when I started to see it turn was when I stopped being consistent with my email videos, my newsletters that had emails in it, constant contact, stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's evolved from different companies that I've bought into throughout the years. I remember having clients reach out to me and they'd say, "Are we no longer doing videos? Like, are you busy? Are you on vacation?" And I'm like, "Oh shoot, like these guys actually watch my stuff. Like this is
Yeah.
actually," and you'll get conversation, you'll get engagement back and forth from clients from time to time. If whatever you're saying is meaningful and brings value to them, but to the point where I'm like, wow, they're actually just watching these to watch them. And
Yeah.
that I'm like, I got to continue to do this. This clearly works. And it's the most cost-effective way to stay in front of your database instead of blasting out, like I've got a farm, physical farm that when I first started, as I mentioned before, and I'm about 6,500 homes right now. But for me to mail those out, that's like $3,500 a month to be considered. And you have to do it monthly or bi-weekly. That's incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
But the digital farm, where, putting the videos in front of your database and, telling them things that they don't necessarily know brings a ton of value to them. So,
Yeah. Nice.
yeah.
And that's just a YouTube video that you would link in a newsletter?
Yeah, so what we do is, and it's evolved. It started off as kind of a YouTube video that we link in a newsletter, and then it went to BombBomb. And then if anybody uses BombBomb or you don't yet, definitely check into it because it actually helps you. There's courses and little academies and processes that allow you to feel a little bit more comfortable as long as you continue to do the repetitions. But yeah, it started off with YouTube, went to BombBomb, and then all of the content that I shoot on a weekly basis from the content I create for all of our clients and just for social media that gets dripped and put into an email template. So like your typical newsletter, a lot of agents have newsletters that are going over kind of what's happened in the market this month. So I'll have a quick little touch on how many homes hit the market, what stood out to me for the market, days on market, wherever the case may be. But then I'll have 2 or 3 videos that I shot for that week for content, where it's whether a national story like the Silicon Valley Bank going out of business, and that little how that affected the industry, to interest rates going up. And I use Constant Contact for this email newsletter, and I found the heat map that when they're seeing my newsletter come in their inbox, they're touching on the videos more than they're touching on any other part of the email newsletter. So it's what they're looking for. It's what they want. So
yeah. So when you starting out a bit, like, I'll just say a little more information statistical. I've gotten to know you on social media over the last 2 years, where like I see on Instagram particularly like a really good edutainment, entertainment, call it what you will. What was the shift of going, or did you like find the Brooks that you are now? Was it natural? What was that part in your world where you're like, you know what, I'm going to throw something out there and see what sticks?
Well, it's funny because before we even started, you and I were talking about like the beard, right? So like when I first started, I would shave because I'm like, I can't have facial hair. Like they're not going to, but then I'd shave and I look 12, they're not going to trust me. So I started as, trying to grow a beard to kind of switch it up a little bit. I'm like, well, I want to be myself. I used to be the suit and tie, and it's just not my style. And then as I realized, the more I put my content out and broke down, kind of, I don't know, evergreen style content, little things in different ways that our clients don't quite understand, but in a way that they would understand. In my own opinion, I felt that and I've found that's resonated more, and I've had a lot more engagement with that as I've just kind of really started to be myself and didn't want to try to sell anybody. Just here, this is what I have, and when I'm at listing appointments, I'll say that a lot to clients, where it's like, hey, I'm just you're going to get everything that I'm going to advise you as if I'm advising my family member, if I'm doing the transaction myself. And I try to get that across to my videos as well. It's like, hey, here's the info. Here's my thought. You may not agree with it, but I'm open for a conversation. So be yourself.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Can we talk about the frame that's on the screen of Be a Realtor?
Yeah.
And I guess we can talk about, but first, like I went like deep into your Instagram. And so, I saw the shift of like, how there was a little more family, there was some lifestyle, there was just some random stuff. And then, it slowly got more, I would just say real estate, entertainment focused. But now I've come to recognize like this background, it's similar to the one you have now, the frame where you're like mid chest up. And just from a technical standpoint, because I think for some people, they're like, well, where do I put the phone? Like, does it have to be on something? So can you kind of break down the actual setup of this frame? Because we can't see behind the scenes. I know in some of your videos we can, but like, what is that to you, a video professional, in terms of the production?
Yeah, so I try to keep it as simple as possible, and I always, even with our clients that we advise and our members that are with us, there's a few different ways of going about it. I own Envision Media. It's a media production company where we do a lot of creative videos, listing videos, content driven videos. And then I'm launching a new service that essentially is a step off of that, where we educate all of our clients on shooting their content that we create for them and edit for them through their phones. So for example, I have my phone over here. That's typically that on a little tripod, and just kind of have the setup here. I've got something a little bit different just because I've taken a lot of the equipment from the studio, and I've got a couple different lights, and I've got a boom mic, and you don't necessarily need all of that. But for the most part, for the beginner, anybody getting into it, it's really a decent mic, a good light, and your cell phone really is what it is. It's there's just too much. And what you're starting to see, and I think the TikTok craze kind of turned the video creators into adapting their videos, their shooting of their videos from their cell phone a little quicker, right? Everybody thought they needed to have these DSLR, they need to have all these different, fancy, expensive cameras with expensive lenses. It's not the case. The quality of the video in the lens that you get on your cell phone is comparable to a lot of the stuff that we have in the studio. So just get a good Bluetooth mic you can kind of clip on, or maybe even get a little boom mic, or even just a podcast mic that connects through that, and you're good to go. Super simple.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That just made me think of a little bit, and I didn't prep you with this one, so I'm going to shoot.
That's cool. No, you're good.
What is your process? Do you sit down on a Monday for 3 hours and come up with videos for the week? Are they inspirational moments in the car? You send a voice memo to remember? How does your process work?
That's a really good question. So my week starts on Sundays. Every Sunday is the beginning of the week. And I break it down because I've got two separate businesses, the real estate side and the media side. I break down my to-do list for the real estate side. And I've talked about this a bunch on different places, but I've got an acronym for the real estate side that I stick to, so that I know that I'm getting productive on it. It's called LLC. Stands for listings, leads, and creative. Any listings that I have, I start off with those first because they're the most important. They're the ones that have a time frame, whether we're in escrow or any little loopholes or anything that I need to tie up. I handle the listings first. The second L is leads. I'm calling on any A leads, any B leads. I'm not really touching the C and D leads. Those A and B leads are the pre-approved people, the ones that are actually ready to rock. They've got a time frame, they've got motivation. Those are the guys that move to the top of it. And then the C is my creative. So when I'm finished touching the listings and the leads, I go into my creative mode, and then I transition into writing content and creating stuff, not only for myself, but for our clients within Envision and Content Drip. So every Sunday, I'm structuring Monday and Tuesday, and then the way that my business is set up, I deliver anywhere from 12 to 15 scripts every by Thursday to my staff, my admin, so that we can adjust these and send them out to our clients and get them prepped for all of their coaching system and when to shoot. So starts on Sunday. Sunday is the most important day of the week. So it's your relaxed day, but you can get a ton done.
Yeah. I hadn't heard your acronym before, but man, that's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you just hit because that's the thing. And I remember getting into it, everybody, it's run, run, run. Real estate's such a grind. It doesn't necessarily have to be a stressful grind like that. If you put together a system in place that you're improving, you're handling your listings, you're handling your leads, you're getting creative, you're good. You get a little bit of you've been productive at the end of the day. You go, lay your head on the pillow and say, I actually got something done today instead of scrambling a to-do list, and you're all over the place. So
yeah, and I can imagine someone like you, there becomes a level of comfort in the unpredictableness of our business, because what you've built for systems essentially allows you to have a more predictable business. And is video a huge part of that can kind of keep your engine running?
It is because I want to stay as relevant and top of mind as possible. That's kind of the name of the game with marketing in general, is just to be there. I want to be in the inbox and the mailbox, on the doorstep and at the open houses. And that's kind of, I'm no longer cold calling anymore, but that was a routine too. It was cold calling, inbox, mailbox, the whole 9 yards. So it's super important.
Yeah, right on. That's great. All right. Well, I learned something new today, so that's amazing. And then Be a Realtor seems to have taken off. To me, it's iconic. To me, it is such a strong character. I'll use the word character. I don't know, or if it's just brand or just a tool, but what is that to you? And I know it's moving away, or kind of what's your relationship to it?
Yeah, it's funny because when I asked you to switch up the Be a Realtor thing was just, I wanted to show a little bit more of the personality, and kind of make fun of myself. The whole process, if anybody's familiar with Be a Man, they're just these comedians out of Boston, out of New England, that insanely funny. And I thought, God, I can, I think I listened to like a couple of them, and it just kind of sparked an idea that, God, us as realtors do some funny stuff, and I'm like, damn, I've done most of those, and let's put together a little series on it. So it was fun. It was something to kind of show personality. When it comes to my structure for videos, there's 3 things that I put into. I'm big on acronyms. Okay, so I call it the PPP. It's your personality, it's your professionalism, and it's your proof piece. So I think by combining those 3 together and putting them in front of your database and getting them on social media and being able to expose those to the general public, it shows your personality. Obviously you want to be respectful. You don't want to say anything that's going to disrespect anybody. And then your professional part is just the fact that you understand the industry inside and out, that you're top of mind, that you're understanding what's happening with whatever's changing with mortgage rates, finances, any new taxes, any laws that are brought to the table that could affect the homeowner or the buyer. And then your proof piece is the homes you've sold, the buyers and sellers you've represented. So PPP, professionalism, personal, and proof piece. And I think you stick to that, then you can resonate with your people, not everybody, but your people. And I've learned from Be a Realtor that I've had some interesting things in my inbox from some of the videos of Be a Realtor, but it is what it is,
Yeah. Oh, that's great. And we have talked a bit and gotten a lot of good questions about, content mapping or planning and what to post when. And, for those who are watching on Recorder right now, like that, if you just did those 3 videos a week, a personal video, a professional video, and a proof piece, and proof piece doesn't always, if you didn't sell a house that week, like there are other things one could do, right? You went on a showing, like you prove you're working. Maybe you did a mailer, maybe you volunteered. Like there are things to show you're investing in the community, but that sounds like a pretty good formula to me right there, just to get going.
It is. And like, for example, so I got my phone right here, and I got you could just have this set up on the side while you're on one of these meetings or on these Real Academy. And the fact that you're learning, you can chop that up through CapCut and be able to get that out there as well. So I've a lot of our newer clients that we work with at Envision and Content Drip, they'll say, how do I want to get comfortable on video? Like, how do I get out there? I'm just getting into real estate. Set up there's so many different ways. You can set up, hop on the MLS on Monday or Sunday, whenever most of the homes are hitting the market, and just have a theme for the week and go out and pick like the three best your three favorite kitchens that hit the market this week, your three favorite backyards, maybe the three homes that that don't have any neighbors. You've got complete privacy on the backyard, and just simply go through it and do kind of a quick day in the life, chop that up through CapCut, and then you're going to start to get comfortable with your voice on the voiceover. Or if you want to have it kind of in selfie mode, you could do that as well. But that's a great way to be your proof piece if you haven't sold any homes, you're just getting into the space.
Absolutely. And just to highlight that, like, one, for those who don't know, CapCut is an app. It's free. It makes editing much easier than a desktop version of anything. Secondly, like, some of the ideas you just gave, like, doesn't even have to feature my face, right? No. It could be screenshots, you know, and just showing our audience, I found that we're hip. We do video, you know, we've got it. We've got the tools. We know how to layer a song in. We just get instant credibility that way. And it's remarkably easy.
It is. And you'll find that when you start off that route, and if you don't want to be on camera, you don't want to be the talking head or face to face, you start that route, you're going to start to build a routine. You're going to start to feel comfortable with your voice, and you're going to throw it in front of you. It's going to go from the phone being right here, doing the whole thing and showing the properties, to being like this as you introduce the property and why you're doing the property, and going in from there. So it's definitely, but again, it's reps, like anything.
Yep, absolutely. I find I'm very good with reps until I'm not. Yeah. And maybe it's because I haven't hit the gym in 3 days. Maybe I'm not sleeping well, like any number of reasons where it's like, I'm not ready to go on stage today. Curious if you have any tricks up your sleeve or ways, and maybe it's just being around a team who's like, Brooks, we got to go. Do you embrace those moments? Do you just use it? Do you lose it?
I mean, I lose it sometimes. I mean, everybody loses it. If you don't use it, you lose it, right? But it is, you have to go back to kind of why you're doing it in the first place. And it's important to, and I always tell all of our clients this, it's so important to be able to get the video in front of your database. You have to create that digital farm, and it's going to start off slow. When you first got into social media, you'd get the 1 like and the 2 likes, and then the 3, and then they grow, and then you know, you get the shares and the follows and all that type of stuff. But you know, when it's so cliche, but you just got to suck it up. You just got to get out there and do it. And swallow the pride, and understand that, you know, Giselle Ugarte, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Giselle. She's amazing. And she brought this up about a year or two ago. She's like, oh yeah, by the way you think you sound, that's exactly how you're going to sound on camera. So don't try to switch it up. When I kind of, going back to one of your questions earlier of how did I change, or how did I transition? You know, I tend to have a pretty heavy New England accent, and it comes out from time to time. And I remember trying to stop the AHs, you know, and whatnot. And because it would always be something. And then, you know, at one point I'm just like, what am I doing? Like, that's not me. Like, this is how I speak. This is how I talk. So you just got to get in there. It's all in your head.
Yeah. Yep. And it's what people truly want to see. It's like actually you. It's not a filtered version. It's not a, you know, remixed version. It's like it's you. And I think too, if you're just getting in front of your audience for the first time, like, you're the luckiest, because everyone's watching you, wondering what you're going to do, what you're going to sound like. So your engagement's going to be really high. The algorithm's going to love you, you know, and like, then you get all super polished. Then it's like, you really start to whittle down to your tribe, right? And your followers. But it's almost like that's the best opportunity to try anything.
It really is. It really is. And I always like, when I'm talking to the team or clients, the social media side of things is one good, and you're going to get the follows, you're going to get the likes, you're going to grow that it doesn't matter if you're doing, you know, videos about water or real estate. You continue to stay consistent with it. It's going to continue to grow you no matter what. Where the value comes into video is that sphere. You just being in front of them and just showing your personality, showing that you know what you're talking about, showing the proof is super, super important. The ones that are really growing and pulling leads from that. And look, legit, like, about 45 minutes ago, I got I got a call from a client of mine that I had seen had opened up one of my emails on BombBomb. Again, if you guys aren't familiar with BombBomb, you can see every time people watch your videos. And I had seen that she had watched my videos 3 separate times yesterday. And I'm like, that's Lorena. I haven't talked to Lorena for a while. She just called me this morning, and her cousin's got 2 listings that they want me to sell. And she's like, hey, but it's all because of the dripping. I continuously dropped on them. Past client of about 7 years ago, but it's the consistency. So that was it. That's the power of it.
Yep. That's really good for me to hear, because I've consistently told myself that my drip is just like my stories and my Instagram feed, but it doesn't give me that level of tracking. And it certainly doesn't give me that level of insight, because you very well could have just said, oh, I'm going to call her this afternoon. Right. And then boom, she called you. So it was like perfect. But I think having that, there's a process and a baby steps to everything. It starts with just making the video, but then once you're comfortable, once you're good, and this is me telling myself what I need to do, you get to that next level with BombBomb or any type of tracking. That's when you can really start to see the work and the risks of putting yourself out there can be rewarded with.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a big deal, and it's my business. I really don't spend any money on lead generation. It's all farm, and it's all the people that I've attracted over the years into my database.
That's amazing. Have you ever, like, in your existence had like someone else you had to share the camera with, or?
I've had when I owned a brokerage here in the East Bay for a few years, and a lot of the agents that came aboard wanted to do video. They were like, because I've been pretty consistent with video over the years, and this was, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. And like we would do one-on-ones together. Do the introduction, kind of walk them through, handle a majority of the heavy lifting when it comes to the script or whatnot. They plug and play what, their 2 cents of how they felt about whatever the topic we were going over. But all the time.
Because I think that's another great stepping stone is like hop on with someone else. Let someone else take a little bit of the lead, but gives you an opportunity to get out there, try something, and just get a bit more exposure as you jump into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so in terms of your business and providing scripts, can you talk a little bit, not a sales pitch for the business, but just the idea of, like, as I write my scripts for myself, what do you look for people to do in terms of one take and send it? What are we looking for after we record it? Where are we putting it once we've recorded it?
Yeah, so we do things a little bit different. I remember when we had first started, we wanted to kind of mimic our business similar to how I've done my personal branding and being able to touch my database with videos. And the easiest way to go about this is to create the script. There's a formula to the script where obviously you want to have a good hook that's going to have great attention, that's going to capture, the audience, whether it's bold or some sort of bold statement or something funny that's going to be there, maybe, anywhere from 5 to 7 words, just kind of a quick banger. And then you've got a little bit of interest piece in there as well. But the way that we do that is everybody we work with, we go over each line 3 or 4 different times. So if the hook is, for example, here's one thing that sellers need to know before buying a property. Our coaches go through and they coach the client with, okay, say that one more time, a little bit more eye contact, maybe use your hands if you don't talk with your hand. Here's one thing that sellers need to know, and it's just repetition. You're done that line, you go on to the next line. So, as you continue to go, you handle the entire script. And this is, again, a short form script that's probably 35, 45 seconds long in general. But let's just say it's 8 or 9 different lines. You're going to go through each line 2 or 3, 4 different times until you get it. And then what we do is we take the best cut, mash it all together, captions, graphics, all that type of stuff, transitions. But for anybody doing it on their own, it's the easiest way to do that, because it's usually the first line isn't like a one take and you're done. You want to kind of get it done. Maybe you looked down when you said it, maybe you stumbled, maybe didn't have your posture up, or whatever the case may be, but multiple takes on each line. And then you just take the best one, put it all together.
Nice.
Yeah, with little transitions just makes it simple, because that's the kind of the brilliance of editing. That's where the editing comes in, where you can have different type of transitions, and a lot of the times the graphics and the captions take away from the mistakes. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
It's good. And it creates a bit more of an engaging, compelling, fast pace,
yeah.
right? As you suck all the air out of it, in a good way, like, or, the in-between times.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, if you're doing a line and the next line is, you finish your hook and the next line is up, and you're going to have energy on that one, and it's going to come across with energy on top of energy on top of energy, and then it's
Yeah.
finished. So
Yeah.
with a good call to action at the end, because obviously whoever you're sending it to, you want them to engage with you somehow, whether it's comments on social, or give me an reply back to this email, let me know what you think, share this with a friend or family, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And you had made the comment that this would be like for short form. And what is short form in your world?
Yeah, so I try to keep everything under a minute and a half. I really would love to have all my videos under a minute. I've started to transition the content that we're creating for our clients, where it's a little bit more detailed, with a little bit more thought-provoking questions, and within the process, within the script. So ideally, 45 seconds to like a minute 15 would be perfect, because you're keeping the attention. And really, the way the editing is put together, you want to try to keep the attention every like 1.7 to like 2.3 seconds of like either a transition or some sort of jump cut or some sort of edit or graphic or whatever, or caption, something that's going to catch the attention. So yeah, about 45 seconds ish.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that falls within all the platforms for the most part to be able to
It
do
does. Yeah, like I'll get my editing team will send a bunch of videos back, and it'll be like a minute 32 or a minute 33. I'm like, you're gonna have to tighten this up. This has got to be under a minute 30 at the most. See if you can take some stuff out of here. I'd get rid of this and get rid of that. So because you want to be able to have it on all platforms. So
yeah, nice. And I assume you're on all platforms?
I am. I'm trying to get a little bit more. I'm not that big on, I started off the Be a Realtor thing, hit on TikTok, which was cool, but I wasn't really getting anything from TikTok, and it was just kind of more of like an entertainment type deal. LinkedIn is a big deal. I saw a stat, I don't know, like a month or two ago, where the average person posting on LinkedIn, there's like one or two videos a week, or one video a week that's posted on LinkedIn. So it's like, geez, Instagram, I'm posting twice a day, every day, sometimes 3 times. But I'm not transitioning that as aggressive into LinkedIn, where it's a professionals and there's different contacts. And I've got a lot of developers that subscribe or follow me there locally, that they need to see my stuff, because I want them to hire me to sell out the division or that community. So LinkedIn's big, YouTube Shorts is big, obviously, and Instagram, and we'll see what Threads kind of took over this past week, right?
Yeah.
Jeez.
I haven't got on yet.
Okay.
But I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's Twitter. You're not really missing that much. So if you've seen Twitter, you've seen Threads. But it's interesting. Everybody's excited about it, just like anything new.
Yeah. In that regard, like, where do you see video going? Like, you've already been on a huge journey with video since pre 2009, and what excites you about the future, and what things do you think we have to look forward to?
So I'm excited about video's not going away. You can, in fact, we work with a range of brand new agents to the industry, to agents that have been doing it for 30, 35 years. And on each side of it, they all understand I have to do video. I need to show my personality. I need to show, me. I need to be in front. And it's the most cost-effective way to hit a ton of people. So that's not going to change. One thing I'm excited about is there's a company, and I was thinking about this a few days ago, because I want to somehow integrate it with Content Drip, with what we do for our clients. And it's interactive video. I don't know if this is a new thing. I ran on it. I figured I saw this, I don't know, maybe a year or two ago, I think. And essentially what it is there's multiple videos shot within a video, and it allows you to click. Like, for example, if we had the difference between a 15-year mortgage and a 30-year mortgage, but as I'm talking, these buttons pop up and you can click on the 15-year and it goes over the pros and cons in the sense of another video explaining the pros and cons of that. Or if you're interested in the 30, you can click. So it's an interactive video. It's pretty intense. I don't know if a lot of people are ready for it, because there's just so much that goes into it. I think there's so much production that goes into it. I don't know. It's interesting. I'm into it. You know, I'm comfortable doing video. I hate being on stage. I'm not a public speaker. I can't do,
Really?
no, not at all. But I'll be
Okay.
in front of a video all day long.
Yeah.
So it's just exciting. It's fun to get it out there.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And just to hit on a few key points, it's free for the most part. We all have to have a cell phone in our business, so we have all the technology we need. It's totally free, and you can put it out there. We've talked a lot about your video for marketing and for lead gen. Do you use video for other things in your business?
Um, Yeah, in the form of, you know, I'll send text videos to clients. And I actually did a video on this about a week or so ago, where, you know, my follow-up is a lot through text videos. If I'm seeing a property on 123 Main Street in a specific neighborhood and I have a client that lives there, I'll send a quick little video to Chris. Hey, Chris, it's Brooks. I was checking out your neighbor's listing down the street. I thought of you. Just wanted to say hi. If you need anything, let me know.
Yeah.
I'm here to help out the kids, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And that's it. Nothing like a sales pitch. I'm not saying, hey, come sell your home when you're looking to buy, but it's like, hey, I'm thinking of you. So that's a big thing, is the follow-up through text video. For the most part, you know, besides just interacting with people on social media, you know, people that follow, I try to you know, send a quick video back. Like Ed Stulock is the king of that. I stole that from him. He's like, every person that follows me, I'll do a quick little video saying, you know, hey, Randy, hey, Chris, thanks for following, blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm here to help. And I'm like, God, and ever since I did that, it's just the interaction and the engagement's incredible. So he's the master when it comes to that.
Yep, he is. And how is it? How long have you been with Real?
February was my 1 year. So what month are we in? July. So yeah, almost like a year and a half. I've been with Real. So I was with EXP for a few years before that.
Yeah.
So needed to make a switch. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Kara Thompson said, congrats.
Thank you.
Well, we've had a pretty consistent audience here. Carol, I saw you taking some great notes and smiling. Randy, I didn't know if anyone wanted to jump in. We're kind of at that great Q&A point. Any questions while we've got Brooks here? You know, open it up to about anything at this point.
I would actually love to ask a real quick question about when you say a proof piece. So I'm rebranding. I'm brand new to Real. I was at EXP too, totally get it.
Welcome to the family.
But right now I don't have a proof piece. I can absolutely do my professional because I'm rebranding and I have all kinds of stuff to talk about. Personal, no problem. But what do we do instead of that proof piece?
So there's a few different things. I would go out and I would go check out some properties that hit the market that week and give your professional opinion on it, right? So I've got a series going out where I've got two series. One of them it's called What Buyers Want. And it's just kind of going into properties and breaking down that property into sections, right? So it could be like I've got one on solar panels, on quartz counters over granite, over stainless steel appliances, no rear neighbors, cul-de-sac. There's so many different things that you can break a property down into mini sections and you go into it. And what's great about it, and check out some of the stuff on my Instagram. If you kind of scroll through, you'll see What Buyers Want. I haven't posted any for a few weeks, but I've got a lot that we're going to upload. But essentially, that's like little 15-second things, and it's just you kind of walking through. You can simply just kind of grab the camera, throw it on the counter, and essentially say, appliances, maybe one or two, probably two or three different benefits of why people need appliances, or why people need brand new appliances, stainless steel over the old stuff. And it's a quick little 15-second video. I think that shows that you know what you're talking about, that you know what buyers are wanting or what they're looking for. I'm doing another one where it's called questions you should ask the agent before you interview. And I did this. This was something that I had a lot of success with in my farm. Because when I first started, I won't go on to try not to go on a tangent here, but when I first started, I started in this farm that was dominated by some of the biggest producing agents in California. 2 or 3 of them were literally in my farm. And my coach was like, you need to get in an area that these people are beating you because there's so much low hanging fruit. There's so many things they can't do that you can do. So I started to understand kind of what the, what my benefit was. So I broke down this little 10 questions you should ask the agent you're interviewing before hiring. And a lot of those questions fit in my wheelhouse that, for example, if Chris has a team of 50 and he's taking on 20 listings a month, is Chris going to be at the open house? Doubt it. But if you hire me, I'm going to be at the open house. So I would essentially break it down that way. And so to kind of get out there and show some proof piece, put together, some questions, one question at a time. And they can be questions that are a little bit further, that are a little bit more detailed, instead of like, what is your commission and how many homes you've sold in my neighborhood? It could be, did you buy your home within 18 months? Here's some potential tax. You're not going to obviously dig into taxes, but you can talk about, capital gains taxes and a lot of the stuff that our clients don't know that we take for granted. Mm-hmm. I would break those down into one question videos, just quick little 15-30 second videos. And you can edit it on CapCut, and you can just simply set up your tripod with your camera right there.
I've been a TC for 25 years, so I've helped really stupid people make a lot of money.
See what I'm saying? So, so that's what I've got. I want to dig into like the title and escrow side of things. So where my escrow officer is like, I can't even believe these people are asking this. Or there's so many things that our clients don't know that we take for granted. And sometimes I'll leave listing appointments and I'm like, God, they really didn't know what to ask me. So I try to, that's the whole inspiration for that. But I think that shows your proof. It shows that you know what you're talking about. It also shows your personal side and your personality as well. You can intermingle in there as well.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm, of course.
Great question. Great solutions. Great options.
Hey, can I talk to Brooks for a minute?
Hey, Carol.
Hey, I just sold my first house.
Congrats.
I love that. Congrats.
New agent,
Yes.
new real. I'm the only one here in town, Moscow, Idaho, which is a small town. So, but most of them are friendly. Some of them are kind of, a new agency coming to town. We don't like that. So Philip, my son, is telling me that I have to do all these videos. I have to do all this stuff. So my new phone is coming in the mail because mine is shit really right now. So yeah, I guess I'm going to get on that. So just wanted to share that happy news about my first sale.
I love that. It's huge. Congrats. That's a big deal. Reach out to me with any questions that you have and kind of get the process going when it comes to putting some structure. And anybody, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. We've got just an abundance of different ways to show proof pieces to kind of get out there the first time and kind of, get comfortable on camera. I'm here to help anybody that needs it.
Great.
Carol, I'm in Boise, so we should connect.
Yes, we should connect. That's great. Okay, I will do that, Carol.
Awesome. Congrats, Carol. That's really great.
Big. Mm-hmm.
Love the sailboat in the back too.
Yeah.
I see that I'm the only one with kind of, my home office exposed. So I probably need to change that. Make it blurry or something. A blurry sailboat.
No, you're good. Mine's just
Ours
boring
is-
right now.
Mine's blurred because it's really messy back there. No, I don't want anybody to see how I really live.
I just have a white wall. I'm literally in my kitchen right now. So I'm at the kitchen table.
Cool. Hey, I also wanted to share that my husband and I just started a podcast, and the whole thing about talking is just, you just get used to your voice and it just works out well.
Yeah. Repetitions, right? And I think podcast is a great way to, whether you have that on video or not, eventually you can, again, throw the camera on and start shooting that and then chopping that up into content. Any great pieces or whatever, any good, points that you made throughout that interview or that question is great to get out there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm done now.
Yeah, I spent years in acting school learning all about repetition and just thought it was like a really boring drill. Only later in life, when I stopped being such a punk, did I realize like the importance of it. And
Right.
just the repetition of working out makes sense now. It didn't back in the day, but
yeah, routine and repetition is a big deal.
yep.
Mhm.
Especially in this business,
Yeah.
That's probably my next slide. I always end these things with just reminding people to do your video warm-ups and incorporate that into your life. So whether that's warming up your mouth and your lips and your tongue, your breath, your energy, your style, and always budgeting that time to post, as Brooks talked about. His week starts on Sunday. Whatever your format is or routine, or maybe you're ready to switch it up, making sure we find the time to do the stuff that is free to get in front of our audience that will in turn bring the engagement. And this is me. You can DM me for homework. I encourage everyone to do 1 video or reel a week, at least 3 stories a week on a talking point, something within the world. DM Brooks, he's been very helpful in this talk, and he's put himself out there to say, hey, he's can be an incredible resource. He's been very generous to me over DMs and text now. I'll be back next month, the 2nd Tuesday, and I just announced my topic. It's going to be getting ready for the fall. So I don't know, maybe we'll break out sweaters too early. We'll talk about pie. I've got apple trees in my front yard that are already starting to produce, which I'm excited for. So all these new content ideas that we can put out in front of our audience, increase engagement, and the market will still be strong. So please reach out and follow. If you are watching this on a recorded version, please, you can also reach out and follow. Brooks, any final words of encouragement, excitement, and inspiration?
Yeah, I mean, you just got to do it. You got to get out there. And I think that's where I think you always hear everybody say, just go do it, just go do it. Put a plan in place, sit down, take an hour and break down, how can I make this as easy as possible? And how can I just start it? Whether it's just, again, not even being in front of the camera and just going to shoot, the best kitchen in the neighborhood that hit the market, or the podcast like Carol's doing. Maybe throw, I would set a goal in like your first, by your 5th podcast, you've got the camera recording, and then you're chopping that up. So yeah, just go do it.
That's awesome. And I will say this all just started with me DMing Brooks, and he said yes. And we have 11,000 agents. Reach out to anyone. I hope that everyone provides that level of incredible generosity. It's what makes this place pretty special. So we're a few minutes early, and that's okay, because we can all use the next 6 minutes to make some videos and share them on Instagram and tag each other. Brooks, thank you so much. This has been awesome. I hope to see you this fall. Thank you.
Awesome. See you guys later.
Take care.